Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are going to be totally switching gears and talking about a different subject that I've never really covered here on my channel. So I feel like this video might get some views from newer followers who are not familiar with me. So if you're new here, hi, check out my content, subscribe. If you are into like beauty, fashion, lifestyle, vlogs here and there, if you like wine, if you like dogs, I mean, we could be friends. But anyways, today's video, as you could probably tell by the title, is about my experience coming off the hormonal birth control pill. So I have mentioned this on my Instagram stories a few times, and anytime that I have brought it up, I've gotten literally thousands of comments and DMs and messages from you guys asking me to share more about my experience, and I've just always gotten a lot of questions. So I thought it would be helpful to sit down and share my experience with you guys, to maybe like answer some questions, or if you're thinking about going off of the pill yourself and you just want to hear someone else's story, then that's what I'm doing today. Obviously, I am not a doctor. I'm not a health professional of any kind. And, you know, take it for what it's worth. I'm just going to be sharing with you guys my experience. And then towards the end of the video, I am going to try to do like a little Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram stories for any questions you had. So I'm going to do my story first because I think that will answer a lot of questions. And then at the end, anything I didn't cover, I will try to answer for you guys. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into the story. Page 1. Chapter 1. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't write this down. I probably should have, but I'm just not that kind of person. So we're just gonna dive right in. So the beginning of August, which is in a few weeks, that will mark 1 year of me being off the birth control pill. And I wanted to kind of wait and do this video until I had like a really good understanding of, you know, how everything has changed. And I didn't know if things were gonna go up and down and up and down and all of that. So I really wanted to just like wait it out and then share my experience. So yeah, it's been about a year since I came off the pill. I don't know. I feel like every time I talk about this, it came off. It's like I don't know. It sounds like I was like doing like hard drugs, but I mean, it is a drug. So anyways, yeah, it's been about a year, and I guess I'll just take you back to like a year ago and why I decided to do this. So I had been on the pill since I was 16 years old, and right now I'm 31. So at the age of 30, I decided to come off of it. And basically what happened for me was I had been thinking about it for a few years, just because I kept thinking, I was like, you know, that's like a really long time, like half of my life I was like on this pill. And like in my late 20s, I started thinking, I was like, should I really be on this for like so long? So I had been thinking about it. I mean, maybe you're thinking about it too, like you're on that age group. I had been thinking about it, and I was just like, I don't know if it's right for me to be on this for so long. And none of my close friends really had been on it for that long. Like my best friend right now, she has 3 kids. So she had been on birth control before, but like in small doses, not like this huge long stretch. And I had been on it nonstop since I was 16 years old. So to me, I was kind of thinking about it anyway. But last, I think it was like maybe around like last May, I really started noticing like some changes in my body. I just started feeling completely different. And at first I thought I was like, maybe because like quarantine and COVID and all of that, but as you guys know, I work from home and I'm a homebody anyway, so I was like, my life really has not changed like pretty much at all. Like I was very blessed in that aspect. But yeah, it was around May, and I just started feeling very abnormal, and I hadn't changed anything in my diet or my life. Like nothing had really changed. All of a sudden, I just started feeling so incredibly fatigued. I had literally no just ambition or even like anything to like get out of bed in the morning. I was just feeling just like so worn down. And again, I was thinking, oh, you know, maybe pandemic, all of that. I'm just like thinking about it. But then I started noticing some physical differences, and I had gained about like 5 to 10 pounds. Like it would fluctuate. Like some days it would be 10, some days it would be 5. And it's not like I started working out less or like eating differently. I just suddenly had like this extra weight on me. And not saying that that's a lot of weight, but I'm 5'3". I have literally no torso. So when I gain 5 to 10 pounds, it literally is all in my midsection. And I was like, this doesn't even make sense, because like I hadn't been working out less. I hadn't been eating different. And so then I was like, okay, well then I'll just tighten up my diet. I'll start eating cleaner. But then is when I really noticed that something was not right with my digestion. Anytime I literally ate or drank anything, it could have been water, it could have been literally a piece of freaking lettuce, I felt like I had like a 4-course meal. Like no matter what I ate or how much or how little, I felt the exact same. And it became like really frustrating for me because, you know, I was working out, I was eating healthy, I had cut things out of my diet, I was like not eating a lot of like processed foods, I was like getting rid of like carbs, like my beloved carbs, like I was like cutting back on like refined sugars and all of that, and it didn't matter. No matter what I ate, I like ballooned. I like looked like I was 3 months pregnant anytime I ate anything. Like I would just get so bloated and I just felt like off, like I didn't feel right. And then I started noticing that I could not sleep at night. Like I was not able to sleep. I was like literally sleeping for maybe 3 or 4 hours a night, just tossing and turning and just not feeling right. So I decided to go to the doctor and get a physical done. So I forgot to say this in the video, but for my testing, I actually went to Planned Parenthood for all my blood work and testing, physical, all of that, just because I have really shitty insurance and it was going to cost me so much more to get it done elsewhere. So I would definitely recommend looking into it if you are in a similar insurance situation. And I was just like, you know what, I haven't really been feeling that good. I would like you to just run like a full blood panel, like do everything, test literally everything, because I don't really feel right. I don't know what's wrong. Please just check literally everything. So they did a full blood panel. They did like thyroid tests. They did liver function test, so many tests. And so the results came back and pretty much everything was relatively where it should be, except for my liver functions. So my liver functions, they didn't make sense. Like, I don't know like the technical terms, but there's like ALT and ALP and like all of these like liver enzymes. And one of the liver enzymes came back really low. And I guess when it's low, it basically is a sign of like malnutrition. So the doctor was like, what are you eating? Like, are you like not eating fruits and vegetables? Are you like neglecting your diet? Are you like, you know, in a huge calorie deficit? And I was like, no. And then one of my other liver enzymes was so high, like off the charts, like the levels of like 60-year-old men who have like fatty livers or like cirrhosis of the liver from drinking for 60 years, or people who have hepatitis. So I had to get tested for hepatitis, and if that came back negative, they were going to ultrasound my liver. I took that information that I got from my test results. My doctor didn't like specify anything. They were like, these levels could be a fluke, like it could just be something, you know, just like random, and you can come back and, you know, test in a few weeks. But I didn't do that. I went home, I got on Google, and I was reading all these horrific things. And sometimes doing that and going on Google and WebMD is not good. But I remember reading something in an article once about birth control and livers, and like a girl having a tumor on her liver. So I went on Google and I found tons and tons and tons of medical like journal information on liver problems linked with oral contraceptives or birth control. So I was like, you know what, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to get off the pill. I'm not going to think about it. Maybe this will help me, and maybe this will help my digestion. Because I didn't really realize like how much your liver impacts your digestion and vice versa. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go off the pill and see what happens. And so I stopped taking the pill. I stopped taking it cold turkey. My doctor didn't say, oh, you should go off the pill. I just told them that I was thinking about doing it anyway, and then I went off of it. And so I was like prepared for the worst. I remember telling Tosh that I felt like I was gonna be like Samantha Jones in Sex and the City 2, like when she's like going through menopause with like, she felt like she was gonna like turn into a man. That's what I thought. I was like, oh my God, I've been on these hormones since I'm 16 years old. Am I gonna like turn into a dude or something? So I went off the pill, and so I did write down my symptoms last year when I first came off of it. So right after going off of it, I had withdrawal bleeding, tons of cramping, I had headaches, I was extremely exhausted. Like I literally felt like I was sleeping for like 14 hours. Like I was so tired. And then even after sleeping that much, I was still so tired. Like my body was just like so drained. Also in the middle of the night, I was literally waking up drenched in sweat. And when I say drenched in sweat, I mean like literally my pajamas were like sticking to my body. Like I was having night sweat. So I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going through freaking menopause. So I had that. And then the other thing I noticed, I had also been experiencing this before, and that was bleeding gums. Like my gums were so sensitive. Like anytime I brushed my teeth, they would just start bleeding. Or even if I would just be sitting there not doing one single thing, I would just suddenly notice blood taste in my mouth. And I was like, I floss, I brush my teeth, like what? And it wasn't like where I had my bonding, like it was like my bottom teeth or like my bottom gum. So I was like, that doesn't really make sense. So that was another symptom that kind of got a little bit worse when I got off the pill. My gums started bleeding even more. So those were my symptoms coming off the pill, and I definitely experienced those for probably 3 weeks to a month. So the first month definitely wasn't great. But I did start to feel better. Like after like 3 weeks, when like the cramping and like the withdrawal, like bleeding went away, I definitely started to feel better. But then the next question for me was, I was like, am I going to get my period back? Because I never even realized that when you're on birth control, you don't actually have a period. You have a withdrawal bleed. And so it seems like you're having a period. And that's basically what I was having when I came off, was a withdrawal bleed. It seemed like I was getting my period. But if you actually look into it, you're not actually having a legit period when you are on like your sugar pills or like those placebo pills at the end of the pack. And I didn't even really realize that. So after I stopped the pill, I was like, when am I gonna get my like legit period back? Because I had been reading all of these stories about some women taking like years to get their period back. And that made me a little bit nervous, because I haven't decided like if I, want to have babies or not in the future. So I was like, well, that's a little bit alarming, because I am, getting older, like now that I'm 30 or whatever. I was like, well, if I don't get my period back for a year, and then if I decide I want to have a kid, like I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to get my period back. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking, but after 2 months of being off the pill, I finally had gotten my period back. So I stopped in August and I got it back in October. So that was really exciting. I never thought that I would be like so excited to like get my period, but I really was like really relieved. So that was kind of the initial experience getting off of it. And I did want to say that when I stopped the pill, I started taking the Alani Nu balance pills. I have them here. They're not sponsoring me or anything like that, but I started taking these as I stopped taking the pill. And I started taking balance because I had heard so many people rave about how it helped them balance their hormones. I know a lot of people with like PCOS take this for like fertility issues. So right on the back it says, balance is strategically designed to support hormonal balance, weight management, complexion, and fertility, enjoy restorative sleep, improved energy levels, and more. So I feel like it really did all of those things for me. And I tried taking this when I was on birth control like years ago, and I didn't notice a difference at all, so I stopped taking it. But I definitely think this has attributed to a lot of the regulating of my cycle. And yeah, you take 4 capsules every single day. I believe they now have this in powder form, so if you're not like a pill taker, you can get a powder form. But I would definitely recommend looking into this. The ingredients in here, or like whatever you call them, also help with liver function and like detoxifying the liver, which is great. So 2 months after being off of birth control, after I got my period back, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop taking this and see how I feel. So I stopped taking it, and that following month I had awful like cystic acne. And you guys didn't really see any of it on my face because I got it all under here, like underneath the jaw. Like, so you guys probably didn't really even notice, but it was so incredibly painful, like just all under here, like my whole face hurt, like it felt swollen, and it was just awful. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get back on this. And ever since then, my skin has been great. I mean, I still get like maybe like one, like hormonal like bump or something here and there. So yeah, I would definitely suggest looking into this if you are struggling with like hormonal balancing or anything like that. I know a lot of like skin issues are linked to hormones, so maybe look into this. So after about 3 or 4 months of being off the pill, I went and had my blood work done again, and all of my levels were completely perfect. I was back to normal. My liver function was like great. Everything else was great. And I felt so much better. I did not feel like any kind of digestion issues. I had already lost about 5 pounds and I was just feeling so great. My mood had improved so much. I noticed that like when I was on the pill, like I was just being like, sometimes I was just like being like a huge bitch. Like I could feel myself being a bitch and I'm just like, I don't even care that I'm being a bitch. Like I'm gonna be a bitch. And I do feel bad to Tommy, or for Tommy, that I was like being like that, but my mood had improved so much. I felt less like sad. Like when I was on the pill, like sometimes I was just like, dude, I'm so sad. And I'm like, I don't even know why. Like, why are you sad? So my mood had improved so much. My digestion issues were gone. And the 5 pounds that I had gained suddenly were off. And again, I didn't change any eating habits. I didn't change any exercise habits. Like I started Pilates, but I've always worked out. Like before that, I was doing weight training, and I felt like no matter how much I worked out, or even if I like was eating all the protein that I was supposed to eat, I couldn't gain any sort of muscle. I couldn't lose any weight, nothing. Then like I started Pilates like in October, and I feel like my body has never looked better. So now here we are about a year later. I am about 8 to 10 pounds less than I was a year ago. So I had lost some initial weight and then some. I feel like my body always had held on to like 3 to 5 extra pounds, and I feel like all of that is gone. Obviously my body is not like perfect or like where I would like it to be, but I feel so much better. My clothes fit better. I feel like I'm able to have like more muscle tone. Like I would store fat in like my upper arms, my stomach, like those areas I've noticed. Like those hormonal pockets, I've definitely noticed less like weight there, or I don't know how to describe it, like less fat there maybe. So long story short, a year later, I have never felt better physically, mentally, emotionally. I just feel way better. I feel like myself. Like I didn't even realize how bad I felt until now when I feel so much better. I was like, I didn't even know that I was so sad. I didn't even know that like my digestion was so messed up, and now I just feel so much better. So now I'm gonna get into your guys' questions because I feel like I've just been rambling and I don't know if I'm even making sense. So I'm gonna add a little structure here. So the first question that I got asked a lot was, which pill were you on? So I was on Yaz for probably like 8 years, and then they switched me to the generic, which was Gianvi, and then I think maybe like 2018 or 2019 maybe, they switched me to a different generic, which they said was the exact same, but ever since they switched me to that, it was like, started with a D, it was like super long, and they're like, no, this is literally the exact same thing. It wasn't, because I started feeling so weird, and I was like, can I pay more for like the Gianvi that I was on? And they're like, you can't do that. But that one started making me feel weird, and I feel like maybe that was what kind of like started it all. But I never did the like NuvaRing or whatever, or a shot or anything like that, the patch. I had always been on the pill, and I tried different pills throughout the years, but those were the ones that I was like on for the most part that I would go back to. So it's like the one that has like 24 pills and then 4 like placebo ones at the end. The next question, and I thought this was a good one, was how supportive was Tommy when you wanted to stop? Tommy is my fiance, he is my boyfriend at the time, but this is something that I was a little bit nervous about, just because, you know, when you're in a long-term relationship with someone and you're on birth control pill, chances are you're taking it because you don't want to have a baby. So when I was thinking about going off of it, I was like, I don't know if he's going to be mad or like what he's going to say, because obviously we don't want any kids right now. But he was actually very, very supportive. I was very relieved. He was like, if you feel like it might help you feel better, if you think it might help improve your health, then, you know, get off of it. Like, I don't want you to feel bad. Like, if you think it's going to make you feel better, then, you know, try getting off of it. So that was a definite relief for me. Next question was, did you have a change in libido after going off birth control? I've always had low libido on the pill and IUD. So I could definitely relate to this. Like, I feel like I've had a low libido for years, and I mean, that's because I've been on birth control since I'm 16 years old, so I definitely can relate to that. I feel like it has slowly increased, so it's not as low as before, but it's definitely not like where it should be, and I'm hoping that like as time goes on, like maybe it'll improve, but that's something that is still like on the lower side, which I guess is like maybe TMI or something. I mean, this is all TMI, who am I kidding? So it has improved, but it's not like by leaps and bounds. It's improved, but it's not like off the charts or anything. Next is, are you doing anything to balance your hormones after years of birth control? That is this supplement right here. Did you experience a lot of weight loss after coming off the pill? Like I said, I'm about 8 to 10 pounds less than I was last year. So I had lost the additional weight that I gained and then some. I know that's not going to be the case for everyone, and I don't think that you should go off the pill just because you want to lose weight. Like, that's like not what this video is supposed to be about. I mean, it is a perk, but like, don't make that the main and only reason. Oh, and the last part of the question was bra size. I haven't noticed a change in bra size, but I do have fake boobs. I have like implants, so I don't know if that is why I haven't really noticed a difference. The next question, were you on it for pregnancy prevention or period reasons or something else? I was on it solely for pregnancy prevention. I mean, I got on it when I was like 16. I had like a boyfriend at the time in high school, and I was like, I don't want to get pregnant. Like, I feel like that's the reason that a lot of us go on it, and they never think about it twice. Like, the doctor will write the script in 2 seconds because, you know, we don't want anyone having, you know, teen pregnancies or whatever, unplanned pregnancies. So, I mean, I get that, but like, I feel like doctors are so quick to be just like, yeah, and like not even like tell you like the risks, because after looking at the risks, like if you go on the internet, like there are tons of women who like have liver tumors and like growths in their livers attributed from long-term use of birth control. Like, it's not even like, oh, it's a chance that it was caused. Like, it was like, no, it's like a direct link. So it's that. Like, I know a lot of times on the commercials or whatever, or things you read, it's like, oh, like strokes and high blood pressure, stuff like that. The liver stuff isn't talked about that much, and that's what really scared me. I was like, I'm having liver issues, and these liver issues out there of women like having tumors in their livers, a lot of them being benign, but tumors nonetheless, like that's why I was like, you know what, I'm all set here. And that brings me to my next question, and that was, do you have any fear of being more likely to get pregnant off of birth control? So this obviously is a concern, because if you're on the pill to prevent pregnancy, you have to think of something else to do instead. So after going through all of this and reading up on everything, I mean, once you realize that you can't get pregnant every single day of the month, you know, like there is a specific time, like a 10-day period, really, a 10-day window of your cycle that you can actually really get pregnant. I don't know if it's exactly 10 days or whatever, but once you realize that you can't get pregnant every single day, it's like, why am I taking a pill every day if it's not even a possibility every day? Do you know what I'm saying? So once I realized that, I was like, you know what? It's not really that scary. So then that brings me to my next question, which a lot of you guys asked, which was, what are you doing now to prevent pregnancy? So I'm using the Natural Cycles app. I saw an ad for it on Instagram, and I looked into it and I signed up. It is $90 a year. There are other apps out there that are free, but for what I use, it has a thermometer that you buy, and it uses an algorithm based on the temperatures you enter every single day, and it tells you, like I'll show you on my app here. This is not sponsored by them. They don't know who I am, but if you want to sponsor me, call me up, call my people, call my people. So I'll show a clip of this on screen so you guys can see, but based on the temperatures that you enter, so you take your temperature every single morning, you enter it into the app, and from there it creates an algorithm that determines what day you are ovulating. So yeah, it'll give you red days or green days. So red days mean stop, don't have sex, or use a condom, or it'll give you green days, which means you're free to do it. You can do it without protection and you're going to be fine. So it errs on the side of caution, and the more you use it, the more green days you will get, because it'll know your body and your temperature fluctuations better to really determine and pinpoint your ovulation days. The more you use it, when you first start using it, you'll have a lot of red days because it's going to be like extra cautious and it's not going to want you to have pregnancy or get pregnant. So yeah, I love the app. I've been on it for a year and I haven't had any issues with it at all. I know some people just track their cycle, but I think that using a thermometer makes it a little bit more precise. You don't have to use an app. You can like write it down in a journal, but I'm not going to do that. So that's what I use currently. Then the last question, and a lot of people ask this, and I feel like this is very important as well, is how were your periods before birth control and how are they now? Are they the same? So this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to get off birth control, because I was thinking about it and I was like, I got on birth control when I was 16. I got my first period when I was 13. So I really only had 3 years where I actually had a real legitimate period. And I don't even really remember. I mean, I remember in the beginning it like being so terrible, just because I was young. But I feel like, you know, it's young when you're first getting your period. It's like, this sucks, like cramps and bleeding, and like you just feel like, ugh. And, you know, I do still feel like, you know, crampy and, you know, bleedy for the first like 2 days, but my periods are actually like really not bad at all. Like they're actually shorter and less than when I was on birth control, which is kind of weird. Like I know a lot of people when they're on birth control, like their cycle or like their periods are like really short and really light. Mine are actually lighter and shorter than when I was on the pill. So that was like a perk for me. I still get like cramps and I still have like good amount of like bleeding for 2 days, but then like it's over within 4 days and it's like very like not terrible at all. I mean, it still sucks and it's shitty, but it's not like, I don't know, I was nervous that I was gonna be bleeding for like 100 days straight and like not able to like move. And I think maybe, I mean, again, I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I'm not sponsored by them. I just keep thinking that this is like the miracle thing for me, which again, check with your doctor, but yeah, my periods are not really bad at all. So that is a plus. But yeah, the other thing that I did notice is now that I am off of the pill, like I can feel when I'm gonna ovulate. Like I get those like ovulation pains. Like I know like what side of my body I'm ovulating on. Like, and it's kind of cool because I never experienced that. Like if I did when I was like 14, 15, 16, like I don't remember that. Like, and if I did remember, I probably didn't even know what it was. But now that I've been off of it, like I can actually know like when I'm going to ovulate and I can feel it as well. So like when I am feeling that way and then I see like this predicts when my ovulation is going to be, like it all syncs up and all matches and I'm like, this is like so cool. So I really like that about it. Now that I'm older, like I can really appreciate my body and how it works, and I'm so glad that it's functioning like how it should. So yeah, I'm very happy to be off of it, and just knowing that I'm not like putting like fake hormones in my body, which really don't need to be there. Like I said, like you can't get pregnant every single day of your cycle. So if the main reason you're on it is for pregnancy, maybe, you know, think about not being on it, especially if you're having like health issues or if you feel just shitty. I don't know. My thing is go with your gut. Like I was not feeling right, and for some reason my body was like, you know what, maybe it is linked to birth control. And then when I saw the research, I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to make this choice, and it all worked out really well for me. I'm very happy and thankful and grateful that it worked out well for me. I know some people will not have this experience, but if you're like me and you were like nervous to get off of it and you're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen to my body, I've been on it for so long, maybe this video was helpful to you. I don't really know, but I just wanted to share my experience with you guys. So yeah, if there's anything that I didn't cover, I feel like I probably have been just talking for like an hour straight in an unorganized manner, let me know in the comments. I will try to get back to you guys. But yeah, that is my experience. 1 year off of being on birth control. This is what happened to me. And yeah, Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for sitting down and listening to me for so long, if you've made it this far. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.